サントス。どれだ？あれどれだ？ちょっと待って。
I'll visit you later.
容疑者サントスか。
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here. They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
7番取調室。どこ？ 7番奥だな。
This area is restricted.
4、5、6、こっちか。ういっす。
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
何度も修繕されている。あれ？過敏症？何度も染色されている。汚い靴だな。血が飛び跳ねた後。サントス・ピンチェッティはマンチェス邸の執事長だ。執事長という邸宅でも一番高い地位にもかかわらず貧しい暮らしをしているようだ。十分な金をもらっているが、サントスはそれをほとんど使おうとしない。安物の化粧品で体の傷を隠している。サントスはおしゃれのために何とかスーツを染色している。金をさらに節約するために、この執事長はスーツに開いた穴を自分で修正しているようだ。こいつ主戦度なんだ。
Is your greedy nature responsible for the lack of taste and attention to your appearance? The cheap makeup, shabby and dyed clothes? How do you explain those, Majordomo?
The means to practice my profession are limited. I'm sorry you noticed it, sir.
The parties overshadowed your state. You are lucky Kurt Manchios's attention was concentrated elsewhere. In a decent household, you would be asked to leave for far less.
Yes, his attention was undoubtedly concentrated on something other than my appearance.
But one detail stands out on your dirty rags and shoes. The drops of blood.
Oh, that. I don't know anything about it.
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
サントスは血しぶきを見逃した。サントスがファビオを殺害して自分自身を洗った時、彼は靴について血の流れを見逃した。 変わるな。カートじゃなくなるな、犯人。難しいな。何万だったっけな。別でこいつは特に聞くことあるか。
I've nothing to say. I don't know what to say.
This book, The Power of Love, Blood, and Mandrake, what do you hope to achieve?
To learn more about the invisible strengths that govern us. Occultism is real. The master who fell that night when Fabio and I escaped, I made him fall. I cast a spell on him and it worked.
Or was it a coincidence?
The universe is rarely so lazy.
If you say so.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I've nothing to say. I've nothing to add. I don't know what to
全部
say.
行くか。わからんから。
I've nothing to say. I've nothing to add. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I've nothing to say. I've nothing to say.
もうこの辺は違うわ
I
な。
don't know what to say. I've nothing to add. I don't know what to say. I've nothing to say. I don't know what to say.
This is the letter the police found in Mr. Vogel's pocket. Fabio wrote it. Do you know anything about it?
I don't. Although I can feel Fabio's energy. It's there, but it refuses to let me analyze it.
Do you practice occult rituals?
For protection? For fortune? To wash away the ugliness of the world? Sometimes to survive. I have the gift, and I'm learning to use it better.
Did you use your gift on Fabio?
I only used white magic. Love charms lately. Fabio became so distant. I just wanted him to be with me, but I suppose I'm not as skilled as I thought.
こいつは犯人じゃない気はしないでもないけどな。まあ、テスターはファビオに儀式を施したのかもしれない。ああ、そうか、そういう考え方か。いやー、でも多分違うと思うな。
That's not something I know much about.
I've read this letter from Fabio. It had no addressee, but it was found in Mr. Vogel's pocket.
Werner? Strange. I didn't think the two of them corresponded.
I'm sure there is some explanation. Would you care to read it?
Call me superstitious, but I don't care to read a letter from a dead man. I've no idea about that. That's not something I know much about. I've no idea about that. That's not something I know much about. That's not something I know much about. I've no idea about that. That's not something I know much about. That's not something I know much about.
Do you recognize this book? Could Matista have borrowed it from your library?
She didn't ask me. How ungrateful.
The things described in the book were inspiration for the rituals you performed?
Do you really believe that blood, symbols, and incantations can resurrect the dead? They are just eerie tales with a mix of occultism and voodoo. My rituals are a stage to show some of the forbidden pleasures.
カートの反応から彼はマティスタに本を貸す許可を与えていないことがわかる。
I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
So the police found a letter from Fabio in your pocket.
I cannot tell if it was truly in my pocket at all. Perhaps it was placed there later.
Well, that is one hypothesis. If it were true, then how did it get there?
No clue. But this night has been rather eccentric. Such a detail could have easily eluded me.
Indeed. Do you recall reading it?
I can't remember that either. But I tend to respect privacy. Reading others' personal notes is not one of my perversities. The air here is rather refreshing.
彼はなぜファビオの手紙は自分のポケットに入っていったかわからず読んでもいないという。読んでない。
I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
読んでない。むずくない？あ、いなくなっちゃった。
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers. Continue our investigation while I look for the papers. Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
もうこれで全部答えが出たってことか？サントスは誤って血を踏んでしまった。事件現場を発見してサントスは血を踏んでしまった可能性がある。いや、やっぱこうだよな。むずいな。
Please let me out. Please let me out. Please let me out.
なんかあんじゃん。カードマンチの遺言状に伝えられたメモの内容は次の通りだ。怠け者のサントス。貴様が遺言に参加したいと懇願してきたから入れてやったぞ。これが私の新しい遺言だ、カード。メモの下に書かれた遺言の内容は次の通りだ。マンチョス邸の執事長であるサンチョス・ピンチェッティには口ひげの用のワックスの瓶と塩のランプが与えられる。公用主の気遣いを忘れるなかれ、カート・マンチョス。
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
だからなんだ。
Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a major domo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love, cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a major domo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why
な
do you
る
think
ほ
your
ど
uncle。treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with
な
expensive
るほど。
gifts.
その逆
What a
恨みで
disgusting relationship.
カートを陥れてあいつを犯人にしようとしたってことか。なるほどね。手紙はカートに当てたものかもしれない。ジャスの証言のないと手紙の内容から考えて、手紙はカードマンチャスになってたのかもしれない。サントスの努力は報われない。サントスは遺産を手に入れるため必死にカートのために働いていた。しかしその努力は報われていない。なるほど。ボーゲルのポケットにあったこの手紙はカートマンチャスにあったものかもしれない。サントスの話ではカートはファビオに高価な贈り物を送っているそうだ。手紙でファビオはあの人物の性格が原因で贈り物を返さないと言っている。ファビオはこの怒りの手紙をカートに当てた書いたようだ。
I have reason to believe that the intended recipient of the incriminating letter may have been Kurt Manchios.
Well, that makes sense. Too bad I can't remember how I came to possess it. Though I did spend quite some time with Mr. Manchios during the party.
Unfortunately, even with an answer, that may still not be enough to clear you with the police. But fear not, I will persevere.
I hope your attempt to put things straight will make up for...
You being on a bender?
touche.
あいつに聞いてみるか。
There is undeniable evidence that you were the original recipient of this letter.
What are you talking about? Is it addressed to me?
Your protege wanted a fresh start, it seems. This is sufficient to charge you.
Me? Hurt my star? Are you insane that you would accuse me of such a thing?
He did not consider himself as yours. Since you deny everything, let's move on. Do you have any idea as to how the letter could have ended up in Mr. Vogel's pocket?
You were the detective. Perhaps he took it from Fabio. Werner was a little high.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him. I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him.
ボーエルは酩酊だったっけな。状態で手紙を取った。バナは複数の薬物で酩酊状態になっているに手紙をやって。カートが手紙をポケットに入れた。カートがボーゲルのポケットに手紙を忍ばせようとして彼を容疑者に仕立て上げようとした。俺こっちだと思うな。
Are you done yet? Can I leave? I know you can untangle this mess.
Could Fabio have written this letter to Kurt Manchios?
Oh. That could be. I never thought Mr. Manchios could make Fabio that angry, though.
What do you mean?
Well, Fabio wanted to disassociate from Mr. Manchios. Clients who are in love are both a blessing and a curse.
But Fabio was here tonight.
Money. In our line of work, we can't afford to turn down clients who pay as well as Kurt Manchios.
Was Fabio afraid of Mr. Manchios?
Not at all. The old toad wouldn't dare to do more than sweet talk and touching. Talk can be forgotten, and touching washed away.
犯人はカート・マンチョスだ。長年にわたってファビオはカートの心を持って遊び、カートの愛情を利用してきた。再び拒絶されたカートはファビオを殺害し、疑いを晴らすために愛の儀式を企てた。地上のもつれ、打ちひしがれて動揺したカートに、ファビオは殺す気はなかった。儀式を企てたのは必死で痕跡を隠そうとしたからだ。彼の愛が死んでしまった今、彼には懲役刑を与えるだけで十分だろう。性犯罪者。カーターは非常にもファビオを殺害した。彼が儀式を企てたのはマティスタに罪を着せるためだ。彼を疑いを晴らすためボーゲルのポケットに手紙を入れた。何の命を何とも考えていないカートは公主刑になるにふさわしい。ちょっと待って、その答えはまだ出せんな。まだ話を聞かなかったことだな、これは。
I know you can untangle this mess.
7番、どこだ7番。
Please let me out.
あれ違うな。
The murder of Fabio
Ah,
did not
間違え
have
た。
a ritual
表題しちゃった。
purpose, Mr. Manchios. It was staged by a man who wished to distract the investigation.
That might be true. That poor girl Matista wouldn't dare to kill the only man who cared for her. So, Santos.
Mr. Pinchetti snatched at the chance to solve his problems.
Ungrateful little scum. Will he be executed?
But what for? He informed the police as to the crime, that was all. He couldn't stage the ritual, but he found the body, I believe.
I can't believe it. Why did Werner do it?
Mr. Vogel. He had no reason, and he won't be a scapegoat as you planned. You put Fabio's letter in his pocket when he was intoxicated, didn't you?
You can't be serious.
You're at the twilight of your life. You have no partner, you have no children. You had feelings, however, for one man. That was Fabio. You loved him. That is, you wished to own him with money and gifts. But he was also a free mind, was he not? He turned his back on you. Quite unjust. Love, so cruel and painful, and Fabio, with his words and deeds, made you feel the more wretched. So you killed him.
You must surely perceive that my sensitive nature wouldn't allow me to hurt anyone.
We can very often deduce someone's life by their shoes or their fingernails. You are a meticulous person, but this murder was fairly traumatic and filthy. After you stabbed Fabio, you were covered in blood. You panicked and neglected to rinse the soap from under your fingernails. The devil is in the details, Mr. Manchios.
Nonsense. I missed it simply because of the busy schedule of the party.
Of course, a staged murder was certainly not planned. You staged the murder as a satanic ritual. It was easy for you since you were the one who wrote the scenarios for the parties. It was your way of avoiding suspicion. A respectable man in his 60s,
Early 60s.
who hosts the cream of Cordona's society, cannot possibly be a murderer. But the guests who behave like animals in his mansion, of course, one of them could have killed Fabio.
I did oversee a few of the rituals, but I did not stage Fabio's death.
The young performer played with your emotions. That was painful to realize. You spent so much time and effort to be with Fabio, but he didn't respond in the way you would have liked. You wanted to be loved. Fabio shattered your dreams. In the smoking lounge, he teased and mocked you. He wanted you to suffer by offering himself to others. The deception was unbearable. You struck him, and then you staged the ritual. You planted the letter in Vogel's pocket and attempted to set up Matista.
What poppycock? Sherlock, stop this game now.
There is no stop word, Mr. Manchios. Relax and enjoy it. I'll pass the remainder of this case to Constable Oswald. He'll know what to do with you.
俺はこっちだったけどね。結論は記憶の宮殿はもうないやろ。さてと、じゃあね。
I have a name for you. Kurt Manchios.
Is that so? The master of the Sabbath?
The man himself. Mr. Manchios couldn't stand to lose control over his lover. A deadly revenge that deserves a proper sentence. I have all the evidence to charge him.
A degenerate and a murderer. I'll make a name thanks to that for sure. As for my part, not everything was in place. Perhaps some documents were transferred somewhere else, but I couldn't find a trace of them. Then I remembered. The discarded document drawers where we put the lost papers or the badly labelled ones. Including the crime scene report of Violet Holmes's case. Everything I've found is on the desk here. Take it.
Your persistence has
Thank you.
saved me.
Yeah, well, we had a deal after all. Your friend is free then. You can leave.
Good luck, Constable.
事件記録7から43。到着した捜査官によってストーンウッド邸の庭の遺体はバイオレット・ホームズ夫人であることが確認された。被害者の体は全身が水で濡れており、喉には5センチほどにわたる縦型の深い切開の跡が確認できた。被害者の顔は腫れ上がり、赤い斑点に覆われていた。死因は低酸素症であることが考えられる。検察医の確認待ち。第一容疑者の夫リヒターを現場で逮捕した。遺体は検証のために移送された。あの奥の部屋か。